Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 139.
139.
Of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by Theme Park Connection in Orlando, Florida.
And we have a gift certificate, $20 gift certificate to give away this week.
I know, we totally forgot we had it. So just let us know what you are looking most forward to at Walt Disney World this year. Like us on Facebook and let us know there, and by March 26th at midnight.
That sounds great. Also, pixievacations.com, our official travel agency.
We're going to be starting a contest with them like weekly starting next week, but they also have there's a new Disney Visa summer room only offer that just came out, so check out their website, and it will be for regular guests as well, not just Disney Visa, starting, I believe, in just a couple days.
And Maple Leaf Tickets, our official ticket agency, the best deals on tickets in town. Check them out. On with the show.
And we're going to start at the Magic Kingdom. I don't think the Mickey floral has ever looked so nice.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. Very colorful, sort of like a springtime look for him.
But the eyes are actually really nice. They're not like looking evil or anything like that, which
I don't think
is
that's
awesome.
The other way is what they're going for.
Like bright red, yes.
Anyway, big doings at the Magic Kingdom. We're going to start off with the partner statue has returned. Walt is out of the box, and he looks great.
And this was last week. I think we went. There's a lot that we haven't talked about because right after our last show, we went to the Magic Kingdom.
Right, and so much, you'll see there was so much that went on. But anyway, it was great to see Walt back. Although I've been told from a friend who works there, Walt will be going back in the box very soon after the big Easter
really?
time. Yes, because they still have to build the other two flower beds.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
So we'll talk about that in a few minutes, but
he looks great.
He does look very good.
And Mickey too.
And the flowers. I mean, everything looks wonderful.
But I mean, the flowers look terrific. They've really just been planting, but they've also taken away, and we'll see that.
So the right side is everything that has been completed. The left side, as you can see with the classic red, see sort of that outline. That's where the other plant, the planting
planters.
areas have to go, and that will be done. The other half will be done once they put the box over Walt again. And as you can tell on the right-hand side, this is what it looks like when it's done. It matches the new hub. It's beautiful. I like the gold fencing and the flowers. Everything looks great. So we just have to match it up.
Didn't even look at the fence. Why didn't I look at the fence? But this was very disappointing. I knew it was coming. I was hoping that I'd get one more time with the Rose Garden, but it is gone. And I'm so disappointed. I mean, they're going to make it, I'm sure, still look nice, but it will never be the same as it was.
Well, we're not sure if it will even be a rose garden. Perhaps it'll be a flower bed. I'm hoping it'll be a rose garden.
We've been told that there should be roses there, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know that for sure.
Right. I think the big difference is, from looking at the concept art and everything, there won't be that path that sort of goes down to the water and around sort of where the old swan boat dock used to be. It'll just be a cut through, so nobody will be able to go way down by the water anymore.
I'm making a sad face right now. It is.
Well, that's hard to see that over the show.
This is my favorite part of the Magic Kingdom. Not anymore, obviously. This is not now my favorite part, but it was.
Your favorite part
of the Magic Kingdom.
All the rides,
I like the rides.
Castle.
Where was the one place every time we went to the Magic Kingdom that I would be like, I want to go to the Rose Garden?
The entrance.
I want to go. What? Okay, the entrance is not my favorite part, though.
I'm just giving you a hard time. I will miss it, too. I love the Rose Garden, and I love taking pictures there with you. So
it makes me sad to look at
Change.
I know. The hub
Speaking
is beautiful
of
otherwise.
change, though, a little fun. The Sunshine Tree Terrace switched places with the Aloha Isle refreshment stand, just to keep people on their toes.
Isn't it odd? Maybe they should start, like the Tomorrowland Terrace used to be...
Well, I hear Big Thunder is going to swap with Space Mountain.
The Tomorrowland Terrace used to not be where the Tomorrowland Terrace is,
right.
So they should just start switching everything.
Well, I think the reason for this switch is the Adventureland veranda, old school dining area, is going to come back.
But do we know? We don't know what it's going to be yet, right?
I don't know if it'll still be called the Adventureland veranda, but I've heard that kitchen, everything is going to be redone. It'll be returning to a
maybe it'll be
a
called
food service
Cosmic
area.
Rays.
That's true. Smart Alec there. But it's interesting. It's so different. You know, just a few years ago, they brought back the orange bird to this, the Aloha, well, the former Sunshine Tree.
Right.
This has always been the Sunshine Tree Terrace. So it's just odd to see it as Aloha Isle. And they swapped the menu around. Right now, there is no orange bird to be seen over at the,
but he might be
there.
Call
it the new Sunshine Tree. Yeah, we heard he'll be flying in at some time. At some, it'll be some form of the orange bird, I guess, is the official quote we're given.
It will probably handle the lines, though, also the new place for the Dole Whips better, because there's always been massively long lines.
Right, so now you can get your Dole Whip right as you get out of the tiki room. Sort of like in California, you have the Dole Whip right there at the tiki room. And they've put the tikis back there instead of the Sunshine Tree. So I think it'll work in time. Everybody is just used to the way that's been there for 43 or so years.
Why not just switch the menu and not switch the name, though?
Well, you're making it too
too easy. It's too easy. I don't know. I have no idea.
Because people are used to tracking down the Dole Whip at the Aloha Isle, perhaps.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know. I think that's unusual.
Anyway, another change in New Fantasyland this time is Under the Sea, Journey of the Little Mermaid has been upgraded.
Right, and they were smaller upgrades than I thought, but kind of a black lighting effects. I think it was down for a little over a month.
Right, and it looks like they've added some fish also into the Under the Sea
That's
segment.
part of the kind of the black light.
That's where most
also.
of the black light is. But we'll take a look at it. I think we're about to see
Scuttle.
That is Scuttle, that's right. And Scuttle seems to be having some trouble. So even though they just did a big fix, Scuttle's movements, he used to play that little instrument there.
Oh, well, I mean, maybe it was just sort of a one-day thing.
Right, he's still blinking. It's just his mouth and his arms aren't really working.
We haven't ridden in a while. Like if you go to California Adventure in California, it's very easy just to walk on. Here, you really need a commitment. Like it's actually quite a bit of a walk, and I don't mind walking. It's just like, well, is it worth it today?
Right. I mean, because we've been on it a number of times.
And we did it twice the other day because there wasn't much of a line. Plus, we had Fastpass once.
So we're about to see the first sign of these new enhancements. There's lit fish. Looks like they are blacklit fish.
Yes.
That really enhances, as you can see them down here on the sides, and then especially up here where you're looking up from the ocean floor.
I never noticed them lower. Like I only saw the ones above.
Well, they may be new also. I think all of these fish.
No, I mean I didn't notice them on our 2 trips.
When we actually went around it. Okay. Nope. So this is the first time. Now, I believe Ariel's hair has also been upgraded to look more lifelike, and I can sort of see that.
I haven't noticed, and I don't think we've ridden enough where I'm like noticing every little detail like that. So somebody had asked me if her hair was different, and I wasn't 100% sure.
Right. None of it is super obvious. Like, I would bet the majority of people wouldn't even notice there's any upgrade.
Well, the blacklit fish they are noticeable, but it isn't like, wow, this is like the best thing ever either. It's a nice addition. I know you've said that, it's a big deal that Disney will shut something down to put in enhancements that aren't going to be huge.
Right. I give them credit. They did this at California. They're trying to make the ride better. They want people to enjoy the attractions. And the whole black light thing fits. It works very well in this Under the Sea segment. Absolutely.
But it didn't blow me away either. It was like, oh, that's nice. So I'm not going to ride more because of it, but it's nice, I guess, get a little something extra for their time in line.
Well, there seems to be quite a bit of trouble with Ariel's hair. This particular scene in California, when it first opened, her hair was like an ice cream cone.
I kind of liked
Remember the ice cream cone hair?
Of course I remember.
And now they have this more realistic hair, and I think they've made all the Ariel scenes throughout the whole ride more realistic hair.
Mm-hmm. I actually liked the ice cream cone. I thought it was an interesting look to her. It was something that, the rest of the scenes do not have.
And certainly there are more figures. I mean, that is very noticeable that they've had more static figures.
Is it? Because I didn't notice. I didn't notice.
I guess it's not that noticeable either.
We just don't ride it that often where I'm like counting figures.
Right. Again, it's nothing that will hit you over the head. Anyway, enough. And these guys work. Last time we were there, they were talking but not moving their mouths, so that's a plus. Now we're going to talk about the new Disney Fastpass Plus East fireworks viewing, as it shows you here on the sign.
And that's Plaza Garden East, which opened about 10 days ago, and West had actually opened a few days earlier than that.
Now that sign there just said it becomes a Fastpass area at 8 o'clock. So,
and it shows blue.
Yes, it shows. I put in my annual pass, which we did have a Fastpass, but she was able to look on the iPad.
And it showed that we had it.
So she turned it magically to green.
Yes.
And we were able to enter.
And we don't know exactly what time this area opened. We arrived around 9, and it was already open. It had closed for Fastpass at 8, but I don't know if guests were let in right at that time or not.
And correct. And to let you know, the fireworks were at 10 o'clock this day. They also had a Main Street electrical parade at 9, and they had the Celebrate the Magic
at 9:45.
9:45. So we're going to show all three. We're going to try to do a Disney triple header.
And we have been asked very often if the Main Street electrical parade could be seen from this location, and we actually just didn't know what the view would be in the evening.
Well, I assumed the east side would be the better chance of it working out, and this one corner here seemed to be the place to be. There was other people standing around to watch it, and this is the view from that area. Granted, I am shooting from a video camera, and we probably have the very best spot, but I think it's not bad.
Well, there was a big line of guests against the fence. I don't want to say against the fence, but close to the fence, who were able to get a pretty good view, I thought. And it was better than I expected. You have all these guests sort of in front of you. If this is your first time seeing it, this isn't the place you want to see it from. But if you've seen it before and you just want to kind of see it from a little bit further away but not too far, this is a terrific location and not too busy.
And this is the view from a little bit far back. I wanted to show multiple areas. So as you can see, there are people in your way. But again, it's a nice way to pass the time while you're waiting for the fireworks. It's still beautiful, and we're going to pan over here, and there is a really nice view of the floats going past the castle, and you can see that very nicely.
And we have seen the Main Street Electrical Parade most of our lives, so it isn't like we needed to be on Main Street. If we did need to be on Main Street, we wouldn't have been here at this time. We would have gone later for the parade. Later in the evening.
Fireworks.
There were 2 showings that night, and it was much less crowded for the second.
So here is everybody waiting for the light show. Let's talk about the grass. The first place we sat in, it was very comfortable, but quickly we noticed it had a scent like Goofy may have been watering the grass.
Oh, it did smell a little bit.
So we moved at that point. So it's very new, but, you know, again, Goofy may have been there.
It looks very busy in here, but it never, to me, felt that busy. So I don't know when we were in there, did you ever feel it got too crazy?
Not at all. I think
so.
There was plenty of room. We sat at the very back because I wanted to, the whole point of going there was to show everybody. So we sat in the very center in the back so I can kind of show how the crowd was. Now, this is the beginning of the Celebrate the Magic projection show. And look at this. You had a perfect view. For the most part, people are seated. One lady just stood up. You could see the problem is there are people guests in front of, as you can see in this video, on people's shoulders, on other guests' shoulders, that kind of block the Fastpass Plus viewing people that are sitting. So part of the area did have to stand. They had no choice but to stand.
It's just very difficult because we did see one little argument, and that's not unusual for like a castle show and such,
right?
Where somebody stood and then somebody behind them was not happy about it. So, it would be nice if, like over here where we were, we could see it fine. We could see the fireworks. Everybody sat in front of us. It was great. But if you had a lot of guests standing, it could be an issue, and there probably should be some rules about what you do in this particular area.
It probably should be seated except for the back row.
But there are guests behind the back row as well, and they're a little bit lower, so you would block them. I mean, there's a lot of potential for blocking.
Well, I think the solution to that would be to make the area behind this viewing area a walkway only. Or at least have it be on the other side. Perhaps you let people stand, and then you wouldn't have any issue, and everybody would be happy. As it is now, again, we went and it was delightful. You could see everybody was very well behaved, but there is potential for, there'd be issues.
Well, I mean, you can have stress anywhere. I mean, I once on a 4th of July got kicked in the face while on Main Street.
By a baby.
By a baby.
Accidentally. I remember that.
Yes, and it hurt. So I don't care if it was a young one. I wouldn't even have known who did it. I thought I was punched.
Well, this evening was baby kick in the face free.
Right. I didn't get kicked in the face this
So
day.
it's always good when that does not happen. Anyway, it is now Wishes time, and this
was
is
a great
this
view
is
for
the
us this
exact
day.
view. I am sitting down. You are sitting down. I can't remember being there and seeing the fireworks seated and relaxed like this.
It would be interesting to do it again and see if the crowd was the same or if everybody wanted to stand.
Well, we definitely have to do it on the west side.
We do.
Of course. So we will have another. Now look at all the happy people watching relaxed watching this fireworks show. I just love that.
Well, I had a really good time in there, and I actually like not being in as big a crowd, so there was a little bit of elbow room, and I always appreciate that.
Well, there was certainly more elbow room than out on Main Street, I'll tell you that. Although you never know if Disney will decide they're going to increase the amount of people they let into these areas.
Or decrease.
Or decrease. I mean, who knows? As it is, it's still new, but I think it was a perfect amount when we were there the other night.
Right. For fireworks, I actually like Fantasyland the best. I mean, that's the least amount, I guess. But if you actually want to see the Celebrate the Magic and the fireworks and a little bit of the Main Street Parade, I mean, this was a great way to do it. And guests who are staying on property can book up to 2 months in advance using the My Disney Experience app.
And we should also tell you that you are free to choose either side. When you book your Fastpass Plus, it doesn't tell you east or west. You can go to the side that you wish to view it from. So, once we see it from the west side, we'll have an idea which one we prefer.
And this is the one that you thought we'd prefer from the get-go.
From my many years of experience. No, I'm just kidding. Just we figured, what the heck? We'll give this one a try first.
Now, now that the Rose Garden has closed, will that be a fireworks viewing, do you think, at all?
I don't believe so. I think these are the only two. I think that's just going to be a quicker way to get out. Now, on the subject of getting out, you're about to see the bedlam of people running after the fireworks. This is the big exit of the night. Everybody is heading down Main Street. There's also a bypass that recently opened, and it's called Market Street, and it's on the other side of this little hub, and you can kind of go backstage and come out right by the exit of the park.
Right. It's around the bathrooms, kind of right
Correct.
Behind where we are.
Right behind where we are.
And we just stayed here. Like, you don't want to leave. This is not the time to leave. Right after fireworks is not the time to leave the park. Just wait even like 20 minutes, because otherwise you're going to have tons of lines to get on the monorail. Look how
beautiful it is. It was so much more relaxing, and we ended up talking to friends, and while we were doing that, we were able to see another Celebrate the Magic show, and if we wanted to, we could have seen the Main Street Electrical Parade with almost nobody there. So again, that's our tip.
And this is probably 15 to 20 minutes later. This is a time to...
Completely empty.
You can leave the park or stay
and you can see the little walkways. The grass is where they're having people stay. The walkways are...
to sit.
So now to update this segment that we originally recorded a few days ago after we returned from the fireworks viewing, let's tell them what we've found out.
Well, this was actually about a week ago that we did this, and we're planning to go back tomorrow. But a friend of ours had done the fireworks viewing a day or two later, and they were told to stand the whole time.
On the west side.
On the west side. So we are going to be on the west side tomorrow, and we'll just let everybody know, if things have changed since we were there, or if East and West are different, I don't know. But we get so many questions about the fireworks viewing, so we will update that.
Right, and we will be sure to talk to the cast members there and get the official word, whatever that may be.
And there could be official words every night.
Right, it could change. As we found out, it changes quite often. So that is that. Now we're going to move on to the Boathouse.
We had the opportunity to tour the Boathouse, which is going to be waterfront dining at Downtown Disney, which will be Disney Springs soon.
Right.
And we also interviewed Steve Schussler, who created the Rainforest and the T-Rex and
Yak and Yeti,
yeah. Right? And this is his fourth concept that will be at Walt Disney World. And the interview was inside the restaurant, so there's a slight echo. And here is Steve Schussler.
My name is Steven Schussler, and you are here at the Boathouse, which is great food, waterfront dining, and dream boats. And the Boathouse is a collection of nautical memorabilia, boats from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. And it's a collection as well of Art Deco fixtures, as well as nautical memorabilia that's more on a modern basis. So it's very unusual. It hasn't been done before. We have a 40-foot Italian water taxi that will take Disney guests on a fantastic captain-guided tour of the lake with chocolate-covered strawberries and a champagne toast, and then have your picture taken with the other guests that are on the Italian water taxi with you. We also have a phenomenal steamboat from 1888, which our harbor master will be on, and he's dressed in a complete white captain's outfit, and he will be doing 7 flag ceremonies a day where he fires off a cannon, and then after he fires off the cannon to get everybody's attention, he'll do bugle calls and flag ceremonies, and that will be 7 times a day so that the Disney guests can get ready to watch what's happening. On top of that, we have amphicars from 1962 to 1967 that will be captain guided, and those cars are incredible. They're called amphicars because they go on both land and the water. So you get a chance to splash in the water with Disney guests, and they'll be able to take a picture of that experience home with them and put it on their piano and be able to say, you know, wow, I did this in 2015 at the Boathouse at downtown Disney. I should have started out by telling you about the fact that our food is not good. It is off the chart fantastic. You know, people come once for the wow factor, and my God, this is a wow factor. But they come back for quality food and service. And the food and the service is unbelievable. Let me spend a moment and share that with you. Gibson's Restaurants out of Chicago, and they've never been out of Chicago before, is considered the #1 steakhouse in Chicago. And their food and service is probably the best I've seen in the country. And so our food and service here is going to be a step above, I think, what other food and libation facilities have. And we're very excited about that. And we also have a beautiful retail store called the Ship Store, and we'll be selling custom paddles with your family's name on it. We'll also be selling custom life rings with things that say, for instance, either your family's name, or it could say, still plays with toys. Cute, fun things that are nautical and very, very upscale. So there's a lot going on here. I consider it to be an attraction, an upscale restaurant, and an upscale retail store altogether.
I can't wait. I tell you what, I definitely want to take a ride on one of the amphicars.
I know, and I think early in the day is probably the best because there's going to be 6 of them, and I think they're going to be like sold out. You know, there'll probably be a line for them. I think it's going to be fantastic. This is the only boathouse.
One of a kind.
One of a kind. There is actually a restaurant called the Boathouse, a franchise in Canada, and they're Landry's, but it's not this. This is their own. They're not, you know, they're with Gibson Steakhouse, but not Landry. So I think that's very interesting.
Right. It does. I can see where the confusion would be because his other 3 properties in Walt Disney World are all Landry's.
Right.
So that's where that confusion comes
right.
from.
And there was a lot of that. So, but I just think it's going to be absolutely a fantastic experience on the waterfront.
And you can check out the rest of the interview. We'll link to that on the show notes.
And we just want to thank Steve Schussler for his time. We know he's very, very busy.
So since we were in the area anyway, we decided we were going to take a ride on Characters in Flight.
Well, we had brought our Groupon, and you should always, before going to Walt Disney World, check Groupons and Living Social, just in case you never know, you might be able to get a deal.
Well, we had a 2-for-1 deal. It was a great deal for the balloon.
Right, it was like $20 for the 2 of us. That wasn't a bad deal.
So we've done this before. As a matter of fact, the last time we did it, you were in a wheelchair.
I was. I had just broken my ankle like a week or 2 earlier, and probably like 1 week earlier.
Right.
And they actually are handicapped accessible. You can just wheel the wheelchair. They bring you right up.
just remember, if you do it in a wheelchair, lock the wheels.
Yes, because I didn't know that that was a thing at that time.
And when you go up and it starts to move, you went for a little ride.
I did, but I felt bad for the person I hit a little bit.
But luckily this time there was no issue like that. We were both on our 2 feet, and we were in for a surprise because we've been going to downtown Disney, Disney Springs, whatever you want to call it, quite a bit. As a matter of fact, we were even there the day before this.
Right, a couple days ago.
And we had no idea what we were about to see.
It feels, when you're walking on the ground, it actually feels pretty finished, although we've talked to guests who aren't used to coming as often as we are, and they'll be like, oh, it's, there's still so much going on there, but it's like, oh, it feels pretty finished. It didn't feel too bad. But when you go up in the air, it's like, oh my word, it looks totally different.
It's truly the great reveal. And we put up some pictures on Twitter and Facebook, and the main response we've been getting is wow.
Right.
Wow, wow, wow. And to me, when we actually did it in person, I turned to you and we both looked at each other and it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much work is going on.
I just want to mention we were looking at the Boathouse a second ago, and then also the hangar here, which will be a differently themed restaurant, also with a boat as a theme outside.
Well, it'll be aviation themed as well as boat, all kinds of transportation themed, we were told. But
and look at
here's
this.
that wow fact. It wasn't until we got to about this height and we actually looked at the scale and it was like, oh my gosh, this is huge.
I had no idea, and honestly, I had no idea. We haven't been up in the balloon in a year, so we actually have one more group on, so we'll be going back in a couple months. But there's so many little footprints of things, and I have no idea what most of it is. Although I know some of the the STK restaurant and some other ones are
and
coming.
Planet Hollywood will be redone to
right,
an
totally
Explorers
redone.
Club type of a thing. Let me tell you, one of the best comments that I found, somebody wrote, "It looks like it's an all-day park."
Right.
I love that. It really does look like it'll be. It's a bigger park than Hollywood Studios right now.
Does anybody else listening? Anybody watching this think that this is unusual? Like, did you expect all this? Because I didn't, and we live here, so. It's crazy. When I saw it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
And there in that last scene, you saw the new bridge. Here is the parking garage, only half done. They're still working on that parking garage. And there's the AMC theater. There's the food truck park down there. So much to see.
And so much coming. So much still coming. I mean, it seems like half is done now.
You can see up in the, you could earlier see in the top-hand corner, the bridge that's going to go across the road was actually on site. They're putting up a pedestrian bridge. So if you're parking over at the Disney parking lot, you can, across the street that is, you can just walk over when that's done.
How did I not even, maybe I knew about it.
I think it was just there that day. I think that was first put
I had
there
never
that
seen
day.
that. So it was like,
There it is right up there. See it laying on the side of the road there, the giant bridge.
We saw it as we were coming into the parking garage. It's like, why is there a bridge at the side of the road?
Now, normally you are scared. I remember the first time you rode characters in
I took
flight,
video.
You did a video, and all I could hear is you making all these scared noises.
I was, and I just want to say, it almost looks like a Christmas ornament on the water. That's our
love
balloon,
that, yeah.
and we are as high up, I think, as you can go. But the first time I was totally freaked out, and I still get nervous, but this time I took over 100 photos. That's all I was doing was like, I need to get photos. And I really focused on that, and I wasn't nervous at all.
What I noticed is you smiled so big. I mean, normally you just are so scared.
I'm scared of heights.
I think you really were enjoying this.
Of course, I just found it totally fascinating that there was so much that I had not realized was back there. But I am actually pretty scared of heights, so it was, I was surprised I didn't get too nervous. And I would have liked to have gone up one more time.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you remember the first thing you told me when it landed? You said, I'd go right back if I could.
Right. Well, we could have, but it would have cost like $40.
Right, that's true.
But I would have done it again and again just to kind of look around, because we didn't hardly even look towards like Epcot and all.
That's true. I barely even looked at all the icons, so it was just too much excitement to see.
Well, in about 1 year, Disney Springs should be finished in spring of 2016.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Oh, and here you are. You are departing the balloon, all happy.
But then I make a face. I'm like just crinkling up my nose, and I don't know why.
It was not bad. Anyway, we had the most wonderful experience, as always, at the Four Seasons. Why don't you set it up for us?
Well, they invited us to try Ravello, because Ravello has a partially new menu. I think they changed, I don't know if it was like half of the menu items, so we were going to try some of the new and some of the old.
Now, when we got there, we did not expect to be having a 4-hour experience by the chef himself.
Right, Chef Fabrizio.
Yeah,
and
there he is.
The kitchen is very open. Like, you know, it almost feels like it's part of the dining room. And he made our pizza, and he called it 3 seasons. There were 3 different kinds because I like margarita, but they also had a mushroom that sounded good. And then you had like a sausage pizza.
You know, we should have challenged him to the 4 seasons pizza. We could have come up with 4 different styles, but I was more than happy with the 3 seasons because you'll see we ended up with quite a few dishes to try.
Right. I mean, we were not expecting to be getting so many different plates. We thought we'd have like one meal. This is tuna tartare, and I don't really eat tuna as much, but you did.
I do, and I did, and it was wonderful, fresh, just tremendous. Not to be overlooking the sea scallops that are coming up, though. Those were wonderful, too.
Right, and they call that the capasante, and that's what that is right there.
Oh, there it is. I remember that well.
And it includes green lentils. And they serve such fresh food. They're even starting their own herb and vegetable garden.
Right.
And that's starting like now.
Yeah, I believe he said the garden will be by the golf course.
And it will be a pretty big one.
And here is the 3 Seasons Pizza. Not the official name, but Chef kind of came up with that on his own.
I don't know what the names... I don't want to say I don't know the names of everything. I don't know how to pronounce them all.
Right.
So I'm not going to even try it on some of them. But the pizza was excellent, and the flour is from Italy.
Now, you do know how to pronounce sangria. I know that.
And it was delicious, and I like that they didn't over-ice it, which is a problem with too many restaurants. I got to nurse this one for like an hour.
I really enjoyed this wine. It was very strong, but we had a great suggestion from our server.
Steven,
right,
yes.
Right, and it went very well with all the different courses.
He was a very good server. This is the veal ravioli. This is a holdover. This is one of their very most popular dishes at the Four Seasons Ravello.
I think this is the first item we ever had that Chef made for us when we went in there for the very first preview.
Yes, it was. And I just want to mention also, we tried about 4 or 5 different pastas. They're all made fresh, and they're all different. This one has lamb in it. I don't know how to say it.
Well, again, we have a very detailed review. We're going to link to that on the show notes. So this way, you know, the proper names can be read correctly.
And I really liked the spaghetti, the bolognese, which
my
was
favorite.
such a thick sauce, and it's made me rethink how I make my own. So like, I'm going to have to find a new recipe now. And again, like each of the pastas is made differently. You can see this is like ribbons, and it was a firm pasta, and each of the pastas was really different from each other, which I liked.
So far we've had appetizers, we've had pizza, we've had pastas.
We didn't think we were going to have so much stuff.
Let's start the main course now.
And this, I believe, was the grouper.
Yes, that's the grouper. It's wonderful. This duck, though, oh boy. I remember I finally had really, really good duck when we were in Paris last year. And this duck that we had here, really, I'm telling you, it's right up at that level for me. I know you're not a duck fan, but it was wonderful.
I tried a bite, and I thought it tasted very similar to steak. It was very nicely done. And
he marinades it.
Right, for hours. Not fatty or anything really at all.
There's Chef.
And he is with that steak, right?
Well, we're setting up the steak. The steak was sort of the star of the show for us. It was amazing.
We didn't know we were going to try the steak. And I believe they call that Monza. And it's a bone-in ribeye. And it was so...
top line.
And, you know, he was mentioning how it's prime up in...
Kappa, right?
Kappa and choice here, but it cut like butter. The way he made it, he has like something called Fabrizio's rub, which he puts on it, and it was kind of charred a little bit on the outside, and it was just like butter. It was really just like butter inside, and I just kept saying, I can't eat anymore, but then I take a little more.
I am getting very hungry. This is killing me.
We just love the Four Seasons as it is, and all the food places here. Ravello is like a casual setting restaurant, but the food is phenomenal and artistic. And even you could just get like a $16 margarita pizza. And
you know what time it is now?
Dessert time.
Dessert time.
And we only ordered 2 desserts, and then the chef's like, oh.
You need to try this.
Yeah,
you need to try this.
He's like, just 2. And so he brought us 4.
This chocolate salami, amazing. And it went perfectly with the pistachio ice cream. Oh, I loved it.
And it has amaretto cookies inside. And right here is a white chocolate cheesecake mousse. I didn't really eat as much of it because we had such heavy items for some of the other desserts that it really kind of, it would be probably a very good light dessert.
Right. I mean, I tried it. I loved it. But again, we had 4 desserts coming, and some were very unique. This was a tiramisu with gold plates on the top.
gold, kind of a gold leaf. And that's a very classic tiramisu. So if you're looking for something that's different, this won't really be different, but if you like tiramisu, you will like this one.
Yes.
And then the next dessert is my favorite. I'm starting early on it because I loved it so much. And he calls it a wine cake, torta al barbera. And it is, oh my gosh, it's chocolate and and berries and seasonal berries. And
Just look at that. That was amazing.
It's cooked with
loved
wine.
it.
And I just thought this was one of my favorite desserts ever.
So how do you think you're going to end a experience like this at Ravello?
Limoncello.
Limoncello is right. 4 different types of limoncello.
And I think you have to know to order this. We were told it's not on the menu. And
this is Chef's private stock, he said.
Yes, Chef Fabrizio's. He's back there making all kinds of limoncello. And he sat with us for like a half hour.
He even sampled his own limoncello with us.
Did.
That was wonderful.
There was like peach and strawberry and some sort of a cream one.
Oh, boy.
It was
what a night.
We were there from like 6 to 10. And anytime I can go to the Four Seasons is a good day. It's just a most fantastic resort, and there's so much to do there, including, dining, and you can do that.
I can't say enough about the experience. I can't wait to go back. We will go back. 2 thumbs up from us.
Yes.
And you know what?
That's another show.
That's another show.
Thanks to pixievacations.com. They are our travel agent sponsor. Check them out for deals for the summer at Walt Disney World.
And starting next week, we're going to have giveaways every week for a year.
Yeah, that's what they said. I can't believe it. So can't wait for that.
That's right. And Maple Leaf Tickets, our official ticket agency, the best deals on tickets in town. Be sure to check them out.
And Theme Park Connection, they are our original sponsor, and you can find them online or in person on the way to Walt Disney World.
So anyway, thanks again for listening. That is another show, and we'll see you all next week.
Have a great week.
Have a great week.